Welcome to the Two Guys One Mic podcast. My name is Taylor. This is Mike.
Cranking
We are,
motherfuckers.
we are. We are not cranking them out into the atmosphere yet because we are busy as fuck, and
that takes a lot of time.
it takes a lot of time. It really does.
But sound, I have a new respect for sound engineers and anybody who deals with sound.
Oh my god, it's just hard, man.
Fucks.
Like editing itself is just complicated in its own right.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like having to, once you start doing it yourself,
Yep.
you're like, oh shit.
And they're like, wow, that sounded like shit.
Yeah,
There's
100%.
nothing you can do
There's
about
not a damn thing.
it because
you can do.
we're recording on some basic ass
Yeah.
iPhones
Yeah.
and we have
Yeah.
basic ass mics.
But we have software.
We have some software. We're trying to do what we can.
Yeah.
But man, I got such. This is like I've got so much respect for anybody, any sound engineer,
Yeah.
anybody who can make shit sound good.
That's right.
Man, it's tough.
Right.
It's
I'll tell you this, my shit does not sound good. You know. Anyways,
We've heard. Everyone has heard.
let's start as we always do with the drink of the show. Mike, what we got?
All right, so we are gonna give a nod to the episode 1, the Immaculate Conception.
Yep.
And there was a point when we were explaining the drink of the show.
Mhm.
And we were like, well, we're going to do this. We could have Capri Sun. We could have whatever beer we got laying around. We're going to do whatever we have on hand because we don't have time to like hand pick everything.
No,
And
correct.
then you're like, we could do Jello shots. And I'm like, whoa, dude.
Like we don't have time for that shit.
We have time to do what we're doing.
But if you would like to pull those two things into the front of the
So
audience here,
what we have here is said Jello shot.
yes.
So we made some for trick-or-treating.
Because one tub wasn't enough. We have
No,
two.
we have 2. We got backups. We are ready to fucking rock.
Yeah.
We got
We have plans today.
we got plans. We got big plans. We're expanding. We're sending our stuff out to.
Yeah. We will be on
Podcast.
Apple. We're on Spotify already, but we need to get everything kind of in one motion.
Yep. So we're just figuring that shit out now. We are primed and ready to rock.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we got these Jello shots that I claimed we were never gonna do because we ain't got time for that shit.
And we got it down.
And we're gonna do.
Cheers.
That's going to be some good sound effects.
Stop. I'm going up. Like, come on, on the cup.
They split it and be like, take a shot.
All right. So this episode is going to be one of 2 episodes. We're gonna have a part 1, part 2.
And it might be part of an 8-part
It
series.
very well-
We don't know because we can expand it into so many different avenues. And I think if we get some of the feedback and contributions that we've gotten, like on TikTok, you posted, there's a lot of different experiences and a lot of different scenarios
Correct.
that we might not be thinking of.
And we're trying to take our topics from our videos on TikTok and trying to implement them into our podcast because again, I think they're important things to talk about,
Mhm.
especially with being a parent and all this other stuff. So
Yes.
we're going to end up talking about cell phones and social media. We're going to break it up again into a 2-part series. We're going to have cell phone conversations first, and then we'll get into the social media part of the second episode.
And the social media and cell phones in regards to our children.
Yeah, correct.
When it is appropriate age for them to do that.
Yeah.
When is it safe, unsafe, what we think, what we don't know,
Pros
other
and
questions we
cons,
have, like
Exactly.
all those things. And we really selfishly, I'm speaking for myself. I can't speak for you,
Yep.
but I don't think it's going to be far off. I think selfishly, I'm trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do.
Yeah.
Right, like,
It's a very
I'm on a-
difficult decision to make.
I need to start forming my ideas and thoughts on this
Mhm.
before it's like crunch time.
I mean, we're not far behind you in that category.
No,
I mean,
no.
Oh boy.
This could be I'm sorry. let's table that one.
We're gonna go-
That's Mr. Pop.
We're going to do every other.
We're gonna table. Yeah, we'll do every other because
Yeah.
that's running hot tonight.
And we will
It
finish
is running.
up in a matter of minutes.
All right, so where do we want to kick off this topic? Do we want to just talk about start at about the age? Do we want to set some references that?
Yeah, so let's do this. We're gonna start off with talking about age and when it's appropriate to have a cell phone versus not. So, so let's talk about this. So, for you, like in your opinion, what do you think? Not anybody else. What do you think is the appropriate age, in your opinion, to have a cell phone as a kid?
So I am gonna try to hold off as much as possible.
Okay.
And I don't know that I have I don't let me hold on. I don't know that I have a set age that I'm like once they hit 14.
Yeah, that's it. That's gonna be the thing.
It's happening.
Right.
Right. I think for me, what's gonna make me more comfortable is when I know my oldest son can handle and be responsible with the watch that he currently has and the responsibilities of that in terms of communication with me and my wife.
Well, and I guess the thing is too, it's like, if you what? Oh, Jim, that's it. Ew. Ew. Fuck that shit.
Pause it.
Anyways,
So
we're talking about cell phones and ages. So we were talking about how you were. Well, hold on. Oh, we got to rewind. I got to get my thoughts straight here.
Yeah.
We had an incident that occurred just a couple minutes ago, and that incident involved a mouse, and a mouse came out of left field over here next to Mike.
Just kind of chilling.
And then we had to pause, and now we are rewinding and starting over. So we were talking about cell phones. We were just discussing about the age, and you were determining what the appropriate age was for this.
Yeah. So I don't know that I have a set age.
Yeah.
That I'm like, all right, by 14,
right.
That's the time.
Right.
Right. I think mine depends a little more on on the responsibilities that he's taking with it and how well he's handling that.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I could see that age getting younger and younger as we go from kid to kid to kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because naturally, the second oldest will just pick up on
it's a natural tendency because you have more people.
They walk faster, they run quicker, they pick up stuff because they're trying to keep up with older siblings. I believe I'm not gonna hold it to a certain number just because I will most likely use a number that worked for my oldest son as kind of a reference point.
Sure.
So like
the first kid, the thing is about the first kid, it's like they're always the hamster, right? That it's like a test hamster, And I know that's the
good choice of words.
Yeah, it's a bad way to describe that, but I mean at the same time, it's I don't want to call them dummies because they're children, but they are literally the hamster on the wheel, where in order for us to learn more about it as parents, because we're growing up with our first.
We don't try to look what the fuck we're doing.
Well, right. So for us, this is a learning point for us, and it's a very difficult decision.
Yeah. That is a picture pot. This is where I'm at.
Cheers. Salud. Boom. We're not leaving until we catch this motherfucker, right?
Yeah. I'll get the torch out and start burning shit.
They're boxed down. Anyway, so I mean, so I think that's the biggest thing. So there was one thing I was reading on. It was more Cliff Notes than anything else. My wife actually brought it up to me.
Yep.
Is the book called The Anxious Generation.
Okay.
And
do you know who the author is?
Yeah, so I believe his name is Jonathan Haidt, is how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Haidt. So
sorry if we pronounced that incredibly wrong.
Correct. So essentially the synopsis of the story or this book is, the child's brain really isn't fully developed until I believe it's like their early 20s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we don't allow children to do certain things at certain milestones because their brain isn't fully developed. So you wouldn't give your child alcohol at the age of 10. Yeah. Because that wouldn't be a good thing for them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so the theory is it's like with cell phones, again, there's two parts. There's cell phones and social media. Mm-hmm. Cell phones, they're saying that the brain needs to develop without being in front of a screen.
Yep.
And the brain then rewires itself to essentially take the development off course.
Yeah.
And so, the theory is you should hold out as long as possible. Excuse me, as long as possible.
Mhm.
In that way, hopefully the child, while they're growing, will develop along with the cell phone.
Okay.
And it won't be so like, well, we started them really young and now they're just hooked on it. You know what I mean? Because your brain needs to have other stimulation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like outdoor time,
Uh-huh.
human to human action or interaction. That's what they talk about. And like they're saying too, where in this book, where it's like, they could suffer from depression at one point. What?
You gonna make it?
I don't. Well, I thought I saw some movement out of the corner right here, in between the two boards.
Oh no, I didn't see it.
That's fine. But
There's no daylight in between.
your eyes will be peeled. So
Yeah.
And so that's the thing where it's like, they can suffer from depression. They can have, social disorders because they're not having that human interaction.
Is it the screen time?
Yeah,
As much as the lack of human to human.
correct. So it's the screen. So the human, it kind of goes both in hand.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's the human to human interaction
Mhm.
that's extremely important for the development of a child.
Yes.
And then there's the screen time that kind of hinders that.
Mhm.
So when Jonathan Haidt talks about the brain being rewired,
Okay.
it's because of the phone. It's
Yeah.
because of the screen.
Yeah.
It's because of the addictive personality.
Well,
that
and like even
is associated.
with these games and whatever, even the learning games and whatever
Yeah.
are programmed to be addictive.
Well, and that's
I don't know. I don't know that based on facts, but you hear about TV shows.
yeah.
The way the concept of Blippi and all these other TV shows like that. What's the one with the fucking dog? Bluey.
Bluey. Yeah. Let's say Clifford, but that's more our time.
Yeah, that's the wrong generation.
Yeah.
But like those shows are being distributed,
Correct.
being pushed out in a way that they're designed to grab as soon as the kid loses their attention to something. There's something different. There's something
right.
And I think that is a big thing where along with just the knowledge of, and we joke about ADHD a lot.
Yeah, of course.
It's no way, shape, or form an expert.
No.
But
if I had to take a bet, I bet we both have it.
Oh, I do. I started getting tested.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was like 8 different tests, and I had to take all sorts of time off work. And it's like, you know what? It's one of those things that I've managed so far.
Yeah.
So
well, and that's
I just sat burnered.
And that's a whole nother conversation for a different day where we could dive into our history and all that stuff. So, but to kind of bring it back in a little bit, I think, the biggest thing is like, we talk about age appropriation,
Mhm.
right? And we talk about, like there is no number, and that's true.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing where it's like, you can't really determine the appropriate age because it's always based off the child that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Some children are, they're more mature at a younger age. Some children, you just never know. Like maybe they're not ready for it.
Well, and there's certain children that are around more adults.
Yep.
Though a person like that or a child like that might be a little more, not necessarily advanced, but a little more mature than someone their age would normally be.
Yeah.
Because they're sitting on a couch with adults and having adult conversations.
Yeah.
Part of that.
Right.
Just pick up words. They pick up
mannerisms. Right. Exactly.
And so that person might be able to take from those conversations and might be able to handle different things at a different time. And I don't think that there is a set.
No, I would agree.
What works for my oldest is not going to work for my second oldest.
No.
What works for my oldest is not going to work for your oldest.
Yeah.
And I think all the different responses that you got from the TikTok you posted about this was interesting because certain people are saying that I gave my kid this cell phone at this time or whatever, it is great, and then other people are like, oh no, I waited till this and it was perfect.
Right. And then
we're not trying to say this is the time or that's a long time or anything like that.
Right.
Honestly, like I said before, we're trying to figure out ideas, and stuff like that to help us figure out what the fuck we're
Right.
going to do.
Yeah.
But I also saw another clip, and I regret that I didn't favorite it and didn't look that up after we discussed today's topic
Yeah.
or what we were going to talk about. It was it wasn't a pediatrician. It was a child psychologist or someone who studies the makeup of the child's brain and like child development. And he said that it isn't necessarily only like not all screen time is the same.
No.
So
Right.
so a game and something where they're isolated and locked in and getting and a show that keeps their attention, you know, insanely locked in
Right.
while it's shifting every 5 seconds to something new and funny and whatever
Yeah.
is different than FaceTiming someone. You know, like
Sure.
like if my son wants to FaceTime grandma grandpa or something like that, like
Yeah.
that's using the screen to have that
That
personal
Right.
interaction,
Right.
which it is I think the bigger, like as much of a contributor to it than just the screen.
Yeah.
Right. So it's finding that tough balance of what's going to work for your kid, what is going to um, be detrimental, where are the boundaries that you have to set. And I think that that's the important part is the boundaries.
Right.
And we set time limits. And if our kid has XYZ minutes on a screen, okay, well then they're, you know, later in the day they're all
That's the thing.
and you're like, your brain's mush, go read.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing screen time, you're also gonna
Do something productive.
like doing like challenging your brain.
Right. Well, and I think that's the biggest part where, and especially, going back to this book for a second, where, they talk about stimulation and they talk about how, your child shouldn't rely on television
Mhm.
or screen, to be their calming mechanism.
Yes.
Right. And look, shit ain't perfect. And I guess that's the biggest thing about this.
Mhm.
Like every parent is going to be different. Every parent, if they feel like this is the only way they can make this work, so be it. However, when you look at the long-term effect of doing this or giving them that cell phone, right?
Yep.
Again, you want to make sure you're reading the room as a parent and making sure that the child is going to be mature enough
Yes.
to be able to manage this big responsibility that you're giving them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. It's really more of a responsibility than anything else.
Well, and reading through the responses you got and stuff, a lot of people were saying, well, I gave it to them at 10, but they could only text me and call me, and it was very controlled.
Right.
And I think that's the type of baby step you need, where like you're not gonna
Yeah, there's got to be
have all
times.
sorts of games and a wide open internet
Right.
and all that stuff on it. Where
And then when you don't need it,
right?
if I send you to school with it, I'm taking it back when you get home.
Yeah.
Those types of things.
But so that's the difficult part too. So
Right.
like my oldest son, he has one of those watches that
Yes.
he can call and text.
Yeah.
And when he comes off the bus with his
Yeah.
two younger brothers, he's home. The three of them are home for 10 minutes before me and my wife gets home. And we expect him to have that on so that he can get a hold of us if something is up or let us know
Right.
what's up. But then like a week or two ago, he texted me 6-7 in the middle of the pool. Right, it's the middle of the day, and I get a text from my son saying 6-7. I'm like, no texting in school.
Right.
Just and usually we try to instill in him that you have to respond.
Yeah.
Like when we tell you something, we don't know if you saw it until you respond.
Right.
And he didn't respond or whatever. And I wasn't upset because
Again,
whatever, like
situation, right?
like we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
So we're having dinner and I'm like, hey man, like if you need something, if you're, out on the playground and you want to check in, hey, how's it going? Or whatever, that's fine. But you cannot do that in class.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, but like, and there was an instance earlier that week that I text him after school. He was at a friend's house, and I'm like, "Hey, come home in 20 minutes." And I didn't get any response. And I was like, "You need to make sure you respond to me." And he's like, "Dad, you text me. You told me not to text anymore." I'm like, "That is very fair. You did exactly what I told you to."
You took the initiative to listen,
right,
and not do the thing that I told you not to.
exactly.
Right.
So like when he can show those types of steps towards maturity or
Sure.
having the responsibility of a device, because if he gets a phone, when he gets a phone,
Right.
it's not going to be here's my iPhone, I'm getting a new one. Like go, yeah, it might be an old ass iPhone,
Yeah.
but it's going to be so choked down that that he can text a couple people and like call.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, makes sense.
That's where it's going to start. And
But there's baby there's baby
Yeah.
steps or levels
Yeah.
for this where, that's exactly right. Where you're
Mhm.
taking this, you're saying, okay, I'll let you text and I'll let you call.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I'll let you add a game. Or I'll let you do this. You know what I mean? Like all those things will come in time.
Yeah. And then, but like, so the tricky part though is when you make the jump from the watch to the phone.
Yeah.
And because we got him the watch because we were leaving him at more sporting events. Like he was at practice. We're not going to make our 3 other kids sit at a practice with him.
Yeah.
To watch that. Like the games are and activities or whatever competitions are enough of trying to get the kids to pay attention and support their siblings.
Yeah.
Right. So we weren't expecting siblings, and we don't expect them to sit through practices, but we had an incident where his asthma started acting up or something like that, and we didn't realize till he got home, and he didn't complain about it till he's like laying down, like, oh, my chest kind of hurts or whatever. And so after that point, we're like, okay, we need him to be able to get a hold of us.
Because of urgency, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of kicked it into high gear for us. But then it's very nice to have him, even if he's with a couple siblings at your house or something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, come on home or something like that.
Yeah.
We can text him. So I don't know what would be your, like, do you have an age set in mind?
No,
Like,
so I
have a thought on that?
So yeah, so I mean, when I was
History pod, by the way.
Yeah.
This is happening.
So when I was in middle school, technically, I pretty much cheers. My mom gave me a cell phone when I was in 7th grade. And the reason that she did that was because I was in a different situation. I had parents that were divorced. She needed a way to contact me. I was in a different situation than most would be.
Yeah.
So she gave me a cell phone in 7th grade. Now, again, back then, you don't have the iPhone, right?
No, you have worm.
You have the worm.
You had the Nokia.
Old
Now,
Nokia. Like they had like cool, like slim Nokias, or like they had like just the base Nokias, you know. So for me, it's like I'm not really set on one way or another. Where it'd be like, oh, this is the age.
Yeah.
Because to your point, we don't know what the age is.
No.
It could be like, okay, well, my kid's not ready because they're not mature enough to handle this particular situation, or maybe I'm not comfortable with it yet. There's going to be those factors that go into it.
So would you factor in the social side of it?
Yeah. But that's
so like I have this thought on video games.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, no, like go outside, it's gorgeous, go play. But other times it's like, man, some of the core memories I have.
Yeah, is without
it is playing video games with my buddies.
Yes.
Right? Like we were playing N64.
Right.
We had a sleepover. We stayed up way too late. We, granted my kids aren't quite that age that I was doing that stuff yet. But my thought is like, if they don't play some video games, they're going to be at a friend's house, and only one that doesn't know how to.
Right. And there's a social aspect, and then there's an actual mental aspect, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where you kind of gotta figure out the best balance of both, because you just never know.
Yeah.
How they're gonna adapt to either situation.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So I guess the thing is, like, to my point, there is no age that I would tell you that would be like, yep, I'm set on this age.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know right at this very moment in time.
Yeah, I agree. I don't, looking at, 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
6, 7.
Or do we wait 6, 7?
6, 7.
Do we wait? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing discussion.
Right.
But all you get my wife of like, all right, what do you think? What do you think? What are you feeling? Because I'll hear different stories and different avenues, which I hope people chime in. Like,
Yeah.
we're looking to have this conversation because and I'm sorry if I'm singling anybody out. Any parent who isn't scared shitless of giving their kids the keys to the fucking world,
Yeah.
in terms of having the internet at the palm of their hand,
Right.
anyone who isn't scared of that shit,
Well, and then
like,
yeah, I mean,
I got some very big questions for you.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing in the book too, where they talk about helicopter parenting, and that's another part of this where it's like it really stunts the development of the child. So but like I said, we'll get in more into that in this next part, and go into the social media aspect of it, which is very interesting to see that. Where I think, and the other thing is too, there's a big movement in our kids' grades to try to hold out for cell phones until they start high school. Yeah. I know, at least for Kinley, on our oldest, my oldest daughter, and your second oldest child grade. So,
and if the group of people that we hang out with, that are then children become friends with,
yes,
if they are along the same, like, that's what's going to help. It's finding parents and families that have the same kind of values or viewpoints on it. And they don't have to be exact. I'm not saying you have to follow, like, do this or not can be friends, but that helps if a group of kids doesn't have cell phones till high school. It isn't just one or two of them.
Correct.
Being left out of stuff on the social aspect.
Yeah.
100%. It is, I don't have a set time, a set date, a set age. It's very much depending on our situation.
Right.
Does my son or get done by the time my daughter gets a cell phone, we'll be old pros at it.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Right. But for my oldest son, and like, everyone's going to be a little different. Yeah. That I don't have a set age.
No, each child you grow up with is going to be different. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but on that note, is there anything else that you want to cover on that particular part of the topic before we get into the next episode here in a little bit?
I don't think so. I think, hopefully we can have more discussions on this with interactions with people commenting and stuff like that. Because truly, it's important.
Yeah.
And I can draw a lot of parallels to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But
we got a little distracted with Mike's pet earlier. So yeah. So hopefully by the end of this episode, we'll have that thing, humanely removed. Sure. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. So other than that, anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We're good.
Well,
see you on the next episode.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us for the 16th episode of the Two Dads, One Mike podcast. My name is Taylor. This is Mike. Peace.